Nationwide Summit on Gun Violence featured comments from New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg and Martin O'Malley, our governor. ABC 2 News' Jeff Hager is here now with more on what comments could mean for Maryland's gun laws. Jeff?
Well, Kelly, the governor is calling for comprehensive measures to combat gun violence, and he says the one thing they have in common is common sense.
Priorities in lethal violence.
It's billed as one of the most extensive summits for experts on gun policy here at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. And its timing is unmistakable on the one-month anniversary of the mass school shooting in Connecticut. Governor Martin O'Malley spoke of his own reforms he'll unveil this week.
It will ban military assault weapons that have no place on the streets of Baltimore or on any other neighborhood in our state. And it will also limit the size of magazines in order to make it harder for criminals to gun down in succession police officers or school children.
In addition to an assault rifle ban, the governor's plan also will focus on licensing and background checks, mental health reforms, and further safeguarding our schools. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg also proposed a military-style weapons ban, expanding background checks to private sales and toughening gun trafficking laws at the federal level.
As horrific as Sandy Hook has been and all the other seemingly endless episodes of mass violence, we experience that level of carnage or worse every single day across our country. Because every day of the year, an average of 33 Americans are murdered with guns.
Experts are hoping the evidence surrounding gun violence will speak for itself.
My hope really is that the people who would normally turn off when you talk about gun policies would really listen and hear what we have to say.
It's a hope shared by elected leaders here who claim the Second Amendment allows for what they call common sense.
Neither Mayor Bloomberg nor any of us in Maryland are seeking to ban all guns. At the same time, we know that it makes absolutely no sense when you look at the level of carnage on our streets from guns to blame every factor but guns.
Experts from across the country will wrap up that summit tomorrow, coming up with a set of their own recommendations. Jeff Hager, ABC 2 News.
Once introduced, the reforms Governor O'Malley is planning to propose this session seem to have a fair amount of support from voters. Annapolis-based polling firm OpinionWorks just released the results of several polls involving gun policy. And the firm says about 62% of Marylanders now favor a ban on the sale of assault weapons. And that number actually jumps to 72% when asked about limiting the capacity of ammunition in detachable magazines from 20 to 10.
Well, all of this comes just 24 hours before the release of Vice President Joe Biden's report. Now, he's going to make recommendations to the president on how to move forward in the battle against gun violence. Vice President Biden has spent the past week meeting with leaders on both sides of the gun control debate, including victims from the shooting in Newtown and representatives from the NRA. Biden's recommendations are expected to include stronger background checks for gun sales, a ban on high-capacity magazine clips, and a renewed ban on assault weapons. Now, a spokesman for the NRA has already said Congress would vote against at least part of those recommendations.
Do you think you have enough support on Capitol Hill to keep an assault weapons ban from passing?
I think right now we do.
My starting point is not. For their part, the White House is indicating that the president would be prepared to act on the recommendations by using an executive order. And parents, teachers, and school officials are meeting again in Howard County tonight for the second time in a week. They're going to talk about keeping their schools safe from violence. And the first of the two meetings was held just last Tuesday night. About 100 people showed up. The meetings are part of a new joint task force on safety in the schools. And this is a school safety task force that was formed by the county after the deadly mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. And tonight's meeting goes from 7 o'clock until 9. It'll be held over there at Wild Lake High School.